I was ironing the only decent shirt I owned when my sister, Brooklyn, leaned against the kitchen counter with that fake sweet smile she saves for when she's about to destroy something in my life. "Big day?" she asked, swirling her iced coffee. I nodded. "Yeah, I really need this one. They said I'm shortlisted." She smirked. "Shortlisted for a janitor job or an actual job?" I ignored her. I've been ignoring comments like that since I was 14. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where you're watching this video. Inside, I was anxious but hopeful. It was the first real interview I'd gotten in months, a logistics coordinator role. Nothing fancy, but it was an escape from cleaning toilets at the community center. It was the first time I felt like maybe my life was starting to turn. And maybe that's exactly why she couldn't stand it. I heard heels on the floor. Mom entering the kitchen, already wearing the robe she never takes off. Dad followed, scratching his stomach like he was waking up from a lifetime nap. "You look ridiculous," Mom said as she poured cereal into her bowl. "That shirt looks like it belongs to someone with an actual career." "That's the point, Mom," I said quietly. "I want an actual career." Dad snorted. "She wants a career," he mocked. "You scrub public toilets. You should be grateful anyone even hires you for that." Brooklyn laughed so hard she nearly dropped her iced coffee. I swallowed my anger because today wasn't about them. I grabbed my bag, double-checked the printed resume, slid it inside, and went to take my vitamins off the counter. Brooklyn moved before I even registered what she was doing. "Oh, take this one too," she said, handing me a small yellow capsule. "What is it?" "A de-stressor. I take them before big days. I've been using them for months." She sounded sincere. She smiled. She even put a hand on my shoulder. For the first time in a long time. I believed maybe she was trying to be supportive. So I swallowed it. Mom scoffed. "Look at her, shaking like a leaf. If she screws up today, at least she can go back to the toilets." Dad added, "If they hire you, the whole company must be desperate." I didn't respond. I didn't want to give them the satisfaction. But 10 minutes later, as I got into the Uber, my vision blurred. I blinked, then blinked again. The streetlights stretched like someone smeared them with their thumb. My head felt stuffed with wet cotton. "Miss, are you okay?" the driver asked. I tried to answer, but my tongue felt glued to the roof of my mouth. When I stepped out at the building, my dream job, my legs buckled. I grabbed a pole to keep myself upright. I forced myself inside. Security stared. The receptionist asked if I needed water. Someone brought a chair. I tried to talk. I tried to explain, but my voice slurred. My eyes rolled, and I overheard whispers. "Is she drunk? Or high? Cancel her slot. She's not fit to interview." I sat there, nauseous, dizzy, humiliated. I stumbled out of the building before they could escort me. My phone rang. "Brooklyn." I answered, barely able to hold it. "Didn't make it, did you?" she chirped. What did you give me?" I croaked. She laughed, a high, sharp laugh. "Just a little something to calm you down so I could show up clear-headed. Guess who got a last-minute interview?" My stomach dropped. "You what?" "Yeah, they had an extra slot. I went in instead. They practically loved me. I might get the job by tonight." I collapsed against a tree outside the building. "You drugged me," I whispered. She sounded delighted. "You're dramatic. I helped you relax. And who cares? You don't deserve real work. You're barely qualified to clean toilets." I hung up and staggered home. When I walked through the front door, Mom was slicing cake like it was someone's birthday. "Oh, look, she's back early," she said. "The company must not have been that desperate." Dad added, "Told you, no one wants the toilet girl." Brooklyn strutted in behind me, waving a pamphlet. "I got a second-round interview. They practically said I'm perfect for the role that she pointed at me, tried to ruin." Mom hugged her. Dad kissed her forehead. They celebrated like Brooklyn won the Olympics. I stood there shaking, feeling the nausea still rolling through my body. "You drugged me," I said. My voice was low, quiet, but the anger made it steady. Brooklyn shrugged. "Maybe don't be so dramatic," Mom scoffed. Even if she did, you deserved it. Dad said, "Someone like you doesn't get real jobs. Be grateful you have toilets to scrub." I stared at them, my whole family, none of them shocked, none of them denying, none of them caring. That's when something snapped so loudly inside me it felt physical. I walked to the bathroom, splashed cold water on my face, stared at the mirror, and the decision came to me clear and sharp. They wanted to treat me like dirt? Fine. Let them face consequences that aren't poetic or symbolic, something real, something legal, something they could never laugh off. And for the first time in years, I dialed 911, and I told the operator everything. The officer on the phone sounded calm, almost too calm for how violently my world was shaking. "Ma'am, can you confirm your sister gave you an unknown substance before a job interview?" "Yes," I whispered. "And she admitted it. My parents, they laughed. They celebrated it." The dispatcher paused. "That's considered poisoning. We're sending a unit." Poisoning. Hearing that word out loud made my knees buckle again. Within 20 minutes, 2 officers were at the door. I was still dizzy, still nauseous, still trembling from whatever Brooklyn had slipped into that yellow capsule. When Mom opened the door and saw the uniforms, she didn't flinch. She smirked. "Oh God, what now?" She sighed dramatically. "She probably called you because she didn't get the job." The taller officer asked, "Are you the one who provided your daughter with an unidentified substance?" Mom scoffed. "Oh, please, it was a vitamin. She's just useless." Dad added, "She's been dramatic since she learned to walk." The officer turned to me. "Where's your sister right now?" I pointed upstairs. The officers went up, and I heard Brooklyn gasp before she tried to laugh it off. "I didn't drug her. I just gave her something to help her calm down." "What exactly did you give her?" the officer asked. "A capsule," she said. It was, okay. I don't know what it was, but she's fine." "You admit you gave her a pill you can't identify?" Brooklyn froze. Her arrogance evaporated in seconds. "I didn't mean Her breath stuttered. Her voice cracked. Mom stormed upstairs. "This is ridiculous. Brooklyn didn't poison anyone. Check the daughter. She's always sick, always dizzy, always complaining like a weak little twig." The shorter officer cut her off sharply. "Ma'am, if you interfere again, I'll need you to step back." Mom stared at him like he'd slapped her. Downstairs, Dad started pacing. "This is stupid. She probably took something herself. She's always been jealous of her sister." The officer's radio crackled. "Ambulance en route. Suspected drugging." Dad froze mid-step. "Ambulance? For her?" The officer said, "Yes. Giving someone an unknown substance is a felony." Dad looked at me like I was the problem. "You're going to ruin your sister's life over a vitamin?" My voice was steady. "She tried to ruin mine." The paramedics arrived and took my vitals. My pulse was irregular. My pupils weren't reacting normally. My blood pressure was dangerously low. They lifted me onto the stretcher. Mom rolled her eyes. "Oh, please, the dramatics. She's milking this." The officer told her, "Ma'am, if you keep minimizing a potential felony, you will be removed from the property." Dad snapped, "You can't talk to us like that." "You're obstructing an active investigation," the officer said firmly. "Stand aside." For the first time in my life, my parents shut up. As I was taken out, I glanced back. Brooklyn was pale, shaking, crying. "Please," she whispered, "don't let them arrest me. I didn't mean it. I just wanted the job." "You wanted my job more than you wanted me alive," I said quietly. Her face collapsed. She looked at Mom and Dad, desperate for support. Dad muttered, "Don't worry, sweetheart, she'll get over it. It'll blow over." The officer turned sharply. "No, it won't." As the ambulance doors closed, I heard Mom's voice screeching, "You're doing this on purpose! You always want attention!" The paramedic whispered, "Ignore her. People like that. They don't deserve a daughter." At the hospital, they drew blood. The doctor came in with a chart. "You tested positive for a sedative," he said. "One that's not available over the counter. You could have collapsed, hit your head, or stopped breathing in your sleep. Whoever gave this to you put you in danger." My throat tightened. Danger. That's what I'd lived in my whole life without even realizing. The police arrived again for a formal statement. I told them every detail. Brooklyn thinking it was a joke. Mom mocking me. Dad dismissing me. Them celebrating her for drugging me. When I finished, the officer closed the notebook slowly. "We'll be making arrests tonight." For the first time in years, I exhaled without feeling guilt. Meanwhile, my phone buzzed nonstop. 20 missed calls from Mom, 14 from Dad, 9 from Brooklyn. I didn't open a single one. But then a text came through from Dad. One single line. "Come home right now and fix this." I stared at the screen. Fix this? After everything? I blocked his number. I blocked Mom's. But I didn't block Brooklyn, because she needed to see what consequences actually looked like. 2 hours later, the officers called me. "We're at your house. Your sister resisted. Your parents tried to intervene. They've all been detained." I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Not victory, not joy, not revenge. Just, finally, someone believed me. But the story wasn't over. Their fallout hadn't even begun. And the moment they realized I hadn't come back home to fix it, something ugly snapped inside that household. They went from mocking me to begging. And I watched the shift happen, step by step. 3 days after the arrests, I walked into the station for an update. The detective slid a folder across the table. "Your sister confessed," he said. "She admitted she gave you something she couldn't identify. She blamed your parents. Your parents blamed you." "Of course," I said. "They're being charged with obstruction," he continued. "Your sister is facing a felony. But here's what we need to know. Do you want to pursue a restraining order?" My answer was immediate. Yes. It wasn't revenge. It was survival. Within hours, the restraining order was approved. They couldn't come near me, couldn't call me, couldn't show up at my home or workplace. That's when the begging started. Mom got a new number and left me a voicemail she thought would melt me. "Sweetheart, they're treating us like criminals because of your little tantrum. Fix it. You need family." I forwarded it straight to the detective. Dad sent an email. "You made your point. Now drop the charges. You owe us." Owe them? I didn't respond. But Brooklyn, she found a way to message me through an old coworker, begging, "Please, I can't get a job. They're running my background. They're seeing the case. Please ask them to erase it." Erase it? My pulse didn't even change. I typed one sentence back. "Actions have consequences. Welcome to adulthood." Then I blocked her too. But I wasn't done, because the detective told me something that made everything lock into place. "They all used your name for credit lines, utilities, and accounts. You can clear it with fraud reports." Fraud reports, identity misuse, hard government flagging. So I filed every single one, every utility they opened, every card they used, every unpaid balance they quietly shoved under my name. Within 2 weeks, my parents' electricity was cut, their Wi-Fi shut off, their credit score nosedived, their accounts froze automatically during investigation, and not a single thing was illegal on my end. It was all rectifying fraud. I even made sure the agencies sent official notices, their mailbox filled with thick envelopes stamped investigation. Notice respond immediately. For the first time, they were powerless. No lights, no internet, no credit, no easy way out. And they knew exactly who started that chain reaction. Dad showed up at my workplace one afternoon, but security escorted him out immediately because the restraining order triggered an automatic incident report. He shouted my name in the parking lot. "Fix this! Fix what you did to us!" But by then, everyone at my job already knew my story. They were the ones who helped me regain the interview slot. They were the ones who gave me a second chance. I walked outside, staying behind the security guard, and said plainly, "I didn't ruin your life. You handed me the tools. I just stopped dropping them." He tried to come closer. Security stepped between us, and Dad finally realized I wasn't the weak daughter they trained me to be. I walked back inside the building, the doors closing behind me. Their voices were blocked out. Their access was blocked out. Their control was blocked out. For the first time in my life, I wasn't theirs. I was free. And they were begging from a distance they could never cross again. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.